twice, welcome thrice. Welcome to all. Good night.
Cherie, in Jamaica, they pronounce it one way. I moved to the Bahamas when I was 2. You pronounce it the way I learned to pronounce it in Nassau.
What she say?
uh, Thank you, Rotary Sherry. Now that you're all welcome, a few remarks and announcement. Well, I would like to also welcome our guest speaker. I know we are in for a treat this afternoon, but the Rotarian, the Rotary Club of Nassau board meeting was on Monday, August 16th. Out of that meeting, um, we have approved for the painting project here in Cat Island. We have agreed to paint about 4 to 5 homes of indigenous persons within the Cat Island. Those homes have been identified. There is one Chilean colonel in Tibet, and our awesome president, Michael, has agreed to donate all of the paint to paint that house. So that will be house. We also have Edmund Jolly, known as Blind Blake in Old Bay. Um, he has been identified as number 2, house number 2. And then there's Rosalind Johnson in Nubai, house number 3. There is um, Granville Pear, that was point, house number 4, and Philip DeVoe in Spitz Bay, house number 5. The Rotarians, um, the Rotary Club of Nassau, sorry, has agreed to um, assist with purchasing of paint and items that they needed. We have President Michael who has a pressure cleaner. He will send that to us, Kid Island, and a team will come down as well to assist with labor, making sure we get that job done. So we're grateful for our mother club um, in assisting us and helping us and ensuring that we meet our goals. Uh, the T-shirt um, should have made its way to Nassau as of Wednesday. They, they as of Wednesday, and they will get printed, and then they will be sent to us shortly. Sheila has confirmed that that is in process. Also, there is a reading marathon that is scheduled for the 22nd of August at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. Um, that has been shared in our group, whereas kids from the age of 5 to 12, um, they'll be reading various stories uh, that is selected. Um, I sure know we have some um, kids of ours or grandchildren or what's not who will be very excited to be a part of that. There will be a first place prize for the persons who win. And also, every kid that partake, they have some type of reward that they will receive as well. So you can get your kids involved in that and be a part of that as well. Also, like to mention that the Rotary Club of Nassau meets on Tuesday, and we are members of that club. So I encourage each and every one of you um, try to make yourself available and see if you can get in onto that meeting on Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 2. via Zoom. And I think that's about all of the announcements that I have at this time. So I'll pass it on to our secretary, Rotarian Angelique, secretary report.
Pleasant good evening to all. Okay, just a brief update from our last meeting, which would have been Thursday, August 12th. We would have had an unanimous decision to donate at the end of the month $25 payment as the seed fund for the club, because we're a new inducted club and we have no funds at this time. So for all of the members that would have been absent, there's a $25 fee end of month due for payment. And then also for members that were not here, we just discussed our financial commitment as it relates to our membership fees. And also our parent company had waived our $25 registration fee. So we are grateful to you, President Wilson, for considering that for us. Further, the chairman would have already touched bases with the 5 persons that were nominated to have the houses painted. That was one of the projects. And that is it as it relates to my report. And okay, the event for the induction was paid in full. So as it stands, we have no outstanding bills owed. That's it, Mr. Chair. Oh, sorry, and there's apologies for Rotarian. There are apologies for Rotarian Cedric Wilson for technical difficulties, and also Donna Kiesler with seeking medical attention.
Thank you, Secretary Angelique. Yeah, so as Rotarian Donna, she had to travel to the States, due to medical issues. So Rotarians, let's keep her in our prayers and hope that she returns to us safe and in good health. I just want to backtrack. During our welcome, should have introduced some guests. We do have some guests on here. Rotarian Pinder, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much, Chairman Herman. It's a pleasure to be here with
Glad to
y'all
have
tonight.
you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Who else? We have our president, Rotary Club of Nassau, President Michael, on with us this afternoon. It's a blessing to have you in the midst, sir.
Yeah, visiting you guys all the way from Fort Lauderdale.
Awesome. And we have also our guest speaker, Rotarian Allison, all the way from Canada, I'm just understanding.
So we also have my Rotary Club of Manor Park president, Michelle Upstone, all the way from Kingston, Jamaica.
Yes, and the president, all the way from Jamaica. We're glad to have you, each and every one of you. Awesome.
See the video with the red line on it.
Hold on, someone has their mic. Okay, thank you. Glad to have each and every one of you. Awesome, you indeed welcome. And I think Secretary Angelique, she covered a secretary report and a treasury report. That's an all-in-one, right, Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we will now move to,
Sorry, yeah. My apologies also. Yes, apologies for the treasurer, Letitia Brown, as well. Sorry about that.
Awesome, yes. Ron is unable to make it this afternoon. So at this time, we'll have Rotarian Melvin, introduction to speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, fellow Rotarians and guests. Our speaker is Miss Allison Peart, P-E-A-R-T. That's the way I pronounce it. And I'm a Bahamian Allison. I've known her for well over 50 years and her family. She has a litany of merits and accomplishments that will go with her. Most notable are one, that she is a CPA, the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica. She worked with large accounting firms in Canada and Jamaica. She served in many positions in Rotary, past president of the Rotary Club of Kingston. She is a charter member of a small Rotary Club, that's the Rotary Club of Manor Park, and the president is with us today. She is currently managing director of Peart Advisory Services Limited. I am pleased to, and of course, I circulated all of the other accomplishments, and you would have read those over the past 2 days. There was something I missed out. She's also a fellow of the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, Canada. Allison, Rotarian Allison, I am pleased to welcome you to our club all the way in Cat Island. And on behalf of our chairman, please feel welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I shamelessly claim Melvin as part of my family. I like to see the outside bar where when COVID is done, I will go and hitch up and look for fish. As you know, as Caribbean people, it's always amazing that I joke around that we're one family, and I really must appreciate and thank him publicly for all the amazing things he has done for me when I was young, and for my mother, who was his math teacher at R.M. Bailey over the years. So to know somebody for 50 years and still have them speak to me says a lot about Melvin, because I'm a lot to handle. So there you go. We're going to talk today. You know what? I tormented Melvin because we also have other Rotarians like Eric Lopez, who will not speak any further about, who we knew about Rotary. So in the Bahamas, I used to go to Rotary events, but it didn't really register with me. When I moved back to Jamaica from Canada, so, I lived in the Bahamas as a child, went back to Jamaica for high school, and then went to Toronto for high school and university and worked for 12 years. When I moved back to the Caribbean and I moved back to Jamaica, I wanted somewhere to join to give back in an honest way. My concern was a lot of things are charity, but how do you work together and have fun? So I chose Rotary because I wanted to have fun. At the time, I didn't know that the Rotary Club of Kingston didn't allow women in, and that was fine. They invited me to join, and I became their president. It was a good club. However, I wanted a smaller club that at the time we met for every Thursday, and it was 2 hours every week. I wanted more control of my time. And so I spoke to Felix Stubbs, who will probably come on here. You notice I go back to my Bahamas people. He was district governor. And I said, I'm curious. I would love to have a different experience. So he encouraged me to form the club. I'm giving you some perspectives on it. So it's fine to be in a big club. It's also okay to form a smaller club. And you have different needs. So from a perspective, my needs changed in Rotary. When I first moved from Canada, I loved the big club because I met a lot of people and my aim was to network. I had left Jamaica young. I didn't know many people. I wanted to give service above self, but wanted to network. As I became more used to the people in Jamaica, having been the president, I wanted a smaller club and I wanted to spend more time doing projects and not in meetings. So I wanted a different type of club. So it's okay. I'm just saying that over time, your needs change. So one of the things, because I'm going to talk about perspectives and what we want to do as Rotarians. Why did members join your club? As a club, one of the first things you should make sure you're aware of is, why are we here? We all have different needs. As I explained, my needs have changed over the years. I joined Rotary in 2004, and what I want today is not what I wanted before. So you want to make sure that you're aware of the needs for your Rotarians, because guess what? It's service above self, but if there is no self, there is no service. So we also need to remember our members and their needs are important. What gets them excited? So to give you an example, I like to have fun. So you say party, I'm there. You say, go and do a project, I like to get my hands dirty. I'm one of these people that have no problem serving. I am not one for a lot of admin details. So if you want somebody to push paper and sit in a 2-hour meeting, I'm out. So you have to know what your members want to do. Another thing, as a small club, ask your members to give you one project each person. Why? If one person is always giving the projects, to get buy-in, you tag along, but you just don't find your engagement is there. You will be surprised what people want to do. Also, as a smaller club, you want to look at smaller projects. So to give you an example, I had a major project as the president of the Rotary Club of Kingston, which was 100 members when I was there. I did 41 projects. I had a major project with Junior Achievement where I raised $300,000 US and built a town called Junior Achievement BizTown. It's the first in the Caribbean. Guess what? Without the 100 members, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do a BizTown now in my club. One, we don't have the time of our members. Our club have people who are running companies. So we have the head of Lime. We have the head of the IDB for the region to look at them and say, give me your time to sit at this project. We just don't have that time. So looking at projects, the things that I did in the Rotary Club of Kingston, I wouldn't expect that I'm going to do that within the space of time. Not that we can't do big projects, but what you heard me accomplish, I did in 1 year. 1 year from it, all of that in 1 year, because we had a lot of people. With a smaller club, you can do amazing things. And I look at it as boiling your puddle and not boiling your ocean. You want to make a difference in wherever you are, because a hot puddle makes a lot more difference than if you drop some hot water in the ocean. Agree, guys? Right.
Yeah.
So yes, so always remember that. Anything you do to help, because remember, it's not just about money. Time is important. So when I'm explaining to you about changing my needs, time became a problem for me. I started to, at one point I was on 8 boards of various charities. So with the new club, when I went out to ask people, could we form a club? One of the things that was important was time. So it's not just money. Everybody's time is important. So you need to understand, what are you going to do with that time? So therefore you need to plan. If you don't plan, plan to fail. So Rotary has some good tools. Some of them, I will admit, I make noise about. There's a strategic plan. For a small club, the way Rotary looks at a strategic plan is a little big. However, look at what they have and work with your main club to see how, from a 3-year perspective, what's your leadership takeover? What is your succession planning? How are you going to ensure financially you have what it takes to do what it is you want to do? Because we all dream big. But remember your time and your money, and you need to match them. Another thing, you're dealing with people. You can't fire anybody. It's volunteer. What that means is you need to find ways to get people to work, because you always hear the story. You have 20 people and 2 do the work. That may be okay if you're open and honest. I say 2 can do the work if the other 18 are giving cash. So understand that. And be open and honest and work as a team. Understand what people's weaknesses are and speak to them. Make sure that you make no assumptions, because in a small club, it's easy to do a lot together. The other thing, Club Central. You're new to Rotary. Go on my Rotary. There's a lot of information. Club Central you know what the goals are. I will admit, I am the district chair for annual giving. So I'm the one that comes behind a lot of you and say to the clubs, how much are you giving to annual giving? There are lots of things that people get confused about, but the foundation, we give, as an example, the Rotary Club of Manor Park, each member gave $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation, and we gave it to the annual giving. I have committed to giving $1,000 a year to Rotary. Some up about 14,000. So I'm a major donor. You don't have to be that. You could give $10. You could give $25. Each member of your club, you give $25 and you make it as a goal. Every penny counts. The annual giving fund is where you access global grants, where you get money from for district grants. Polio, you know, Lindsay Cancino does an amazing job with polio. You may wonder in COVID, why are we focused on polio? Remember, if one person in the world has polio, we are all exposed. So look on My Rotary, look to see what are your goals? What are the goals that you're going to set and how are you going to meet them? Because the district reps and the district governor, he makes his decisions based on what you tell him in that. The other thing, look within your community. I heard some really good projects about painting homes. I mean, that sounds absolutely phenomenal. As a small club, and we were starting out, Michelle used to be in Kiwanis many, many years ago. So don't be shy. It's not that we stole her. She left Kiwanis. And don't be shy in asking people to join. All they can tell you is no. Don't be afraid of the word no, because you're begging for Rotary. You ain't begging for yourself. So don't be ashamed. The other thing I did, because we were a new club, we had Michelle, majority, when we formed our club, I would say 90% had never been in Rotary, never. So training is important. Get your main club to get you some training. The My Rotary is good. Also, the district does a lot. Rotary has a ton of training now that we're online. So don't be shy to ask. Couple things too. How do you come up with projects? So we have a new club. I convinced 19 of my friends to form a club. What do you do once you started? We had some training and we said, how are we going to get projects? Club of the Month. Karen Pinder is our district Club of the Month. What I found phenomenal that we do in our district is the theme. So you don't have to do everything because of Club of the Month. She indicated to me that you can submit your own Club of the Month. But one of the things to bear in mind, it gave me direction. So in our Rotary Club, we target things based on the theme for the month. So if you go on the District 7020 website, we're going to talk about the themes real quick. So we're in August. August is membership and partnership month. So I'll give you an example of what we did. We normally bring in our members in August. However, we start to do things in July because we want to send things to Club of the Month. So in August and in July, we partnered. One of our Rotarians has a foundation where she brings diapers and food to a home for underage mothers. So you had 14-year-old mothers, you have very young mothers. And during COVID, people sometimes forget. So we partnered with her charity. The other thing you could partner with is, if you have Kiwanis around you, if you have Junior Achievement, if you have Red Cross, it's a great time to look at partnerships. Not saying you don't do it for the rest of the year, but what I love about Club of the Month, it focuses you. Because come September, we then submit the information to Club of the Month. And it's a great way at the end of the year to know what you've done. Because the year goes by like this. When you look at your Club of the Month, if you commit to doing even just what the Club of the Month theme is, you'd be amazed the impact you make. So September. New Generations and Literacy Month. What do? We at the Rotary Club of Manor Park, we have a scholarship. So we're going to pay, we've done it for police officers. Our president last year was the highest ranking female police in Jamaica before she retired. So she identified, and we had a little committee, and we looked for their children because we forget that the frontline workers, they need help. So we're paying the school fee for 3 of the kids that we notice. Why? It'll give us good new generation. It also ties into Club of the Month and it helps the community. We also look at the E-Club. The E-Club has My Butterfly Story. We aim as a Rotary Club of Manor Park to enter it every year. It goes for children to write stories. With this age of everything being on the internet, reading and writing is disappearing. So I would say that's another great thing to look at, partnering with the E-Club to enter students. Then we get into October. I used to be the Community and Economic Development Chair for Felix Stubbs when he was the president. And what I looked at was junior achievement. So junior achievement, I found, was a great way to get community development because they had small projects and small training that you could bring into schools. So partnering with them was good. Look for other things. As an accountant, you could look in your club and ask somebody in Rotary to come and even speak to a school. I find now where things are online, a lot of the teachers are struggling for experts. So get any of us to come and speak on a topic that is relevant, like financial literacy. Our children, they need to learn to read and write, and they need to learn about money. They need to learn cashes and profits. No matter what you make, it's what you keep that is important. We, even if we're not accountants, we are successful because we ain't bankrupt, and we can speak to these children. You'd be amazed what it does. Looking at November, Foundation and Public Image Month. Remember I told you as the annual giving chair, you want to give some money to the Rotary Foundation? That is a great time to do it. Public image, get your voice out there, be on social media. This is a great time to ensure that the voice of Rotary is heard in Cat Island. If you are doing things and nobody knows about it, the issue is, have you done anything? So you want to get your public image out there. It's a great time to remember and do things in November. December, Rotary family. You know, that's when you party, get your crab and rice. Well, it's out of season because it ain't June, but if you froze some, get some guava duff, you know, even if you're eating it virtually, it's a great time to fellowship. It's also disease prevention. We're Caribbean people. We have high blood pressure. We have diabetes. It's the time to look in your community to see what can you do. When I was at the Rotary Club of Kingston, we used to partner, and I did it as well as a club. We all did it with the Salvation Army. They do good stuff as well. And we said to them, we're going to do a kettle drive and you're going to take that money and give towards diabetes. So that's another way that you can work with another entity. January, Vocational Service Month. We were like, what are we going to do? We give an award. We give some recognition to amazing people in our community. Look at somebody in Cat Island who is doing amazing stuff. Give them an award. Thank them for what they have been doing. It could even be a member of your own club. Sometimes as Rotarians, we forget about the amazing people in our midst. We also have world understanding, peace building, and conflict resolution. I don't know what it is with COVID, but everybody fighting. Everybody, you know, I hyper as it is, but when I look, everybody hyper ready to fight. We need more peace and conflict. Look within to see how could you bring some peace, even if it's just a Zoom, even if you look on Rotary and they have some really good peace scholars, perhaps identify one and send one in. You get into March, water, sanitation, and hygiene. Maybe renovate a bathroom. I heard you're painting. Maybe there's a home that needs some renovation with the bathroom. One thing I should caution, in Jamaica, we do have communities that don't have running water. Be careful, ask the community what they need. Don't assume. I have seen a situation where funds were raised for a rural community to build a really high class bathroom, but guess what? They don't get water. So you make sure that what you're doing makes sense, because it makes no sense to have this beautiful bathroom and ain't no water to flush the toilet. So ensure that whatever you're doing, the community needs it and the community will use it. Another thing in March that our club does, Barry Racine, our amazing Barry, he has this hand wash program for Haiti. We give $100 at least every March to the hand wash program to bring clean water to Haiti. The other thing that I found helpful was going to the homes and police stations and schools, asking them what they want. Our major project, our president is an IT lady. We're bringing a smart board. We're bringing IT. We're going to make a school, which is a teaching school, we're bringing them into the age of technology, where whether you can go live or you can stay from home, we're lifting them. We also partnered with a psychologist to do an assessment. With COVID, we all talk about the learning loss. We're looking at individual children, because remember, if we can save one child from a life of criminality or a life of poverty, from any life that isn't meaningful, it is an accomplishment. So, looking for ideas, your club members, look at back to school, look at breaking up the monotony, even making a phone call to some old people or seniors. They don't like to be called old. I get up there, call them. You may find that because of COVID, you can't see them, but they might be lonely. Even if they have relatives, you'd be amazed. A phone call to check in on your neighbor. Say it's a Rotary Club at Cat Island. I just want to check in on you. Do it regularly on phone, even if you wave at them and talk over, and they're far in their social distance. That human touch, that time, it doesn't have to be money. Again, keep track of your money. As an accountant, one of the things we do in Rotary Club of Manor Park to keep us safe, we take a photocopy of every check. Every time somebody deposits money in our account, we ask them for a receipt. Our president was the treasurer, and she'll tell you when the audit is going on, because in Jamaica, we are registered as a charity and we have an external audit. You sometimes are like, what was this for? Keep it in a WhatsApp group. If you have an exec group, have a WhatsApp group, take pictures and post them. You'd be amazed how that helps you keep track of your money, because before you know it, the year is up and you're like, what did I spend this on? The other thing, go to the various online meetings. There are a ton of them. Explore them. Go and look and listen and hear. You may find amazing ideas. You may meet amazing people. The district conferences, even if they're just online for now, amazing places. Rotary Convention, whether you go online or in person, amazing experience. You want to ensure that you learn Rotary, because Rotary every year has amazing people like yourselves. So, in closing, because I'm gonna have you ask me questions. In closing, I want you to have fun. I'm a fun person, and nobody likes to hang around people that are half dead. You're gonna have your days, but make your club fun. As you can tell from my interaction with our president, we have a drama-free club. We put it in our bylaws. We don't want no drama. We're here for fun, because life's short. This ain't work. This is fun. We're gonna do service above self and make it fun. So those are my perspectives from Kingston, Jamaica, coming to you live and direct from Toronto. Any questions for me? Because again, it's not a speech, it's interaction. So I'm just telling you what I've seen, what I heard. Yes, sir, Chairman.
Awesome, awesome. That was a lot, and it was wonderful information. Wonderful information. I've been jotting down all of the wonderful ideas, and this satellite club here in Cat Island, we'll be doing some things on those lines. I love the club of the month. I have that calendar, and the idea of going on that, using that as a guide. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I have browsed it a bit when I think it was Secretary Chantel sent it to me. So I will revisit that, and definitely we will use that as also as a tool and a guideline.
One other, when Club of the Month gives the results, they normally will tell you the winning clubs. Look at what they do. You will get amazing ideas, because it's all across the 10 countries.
Correct.
Remember, we're not stealing the Rotary, we're sharing.
we have to start winning as well.
Well, I will admit that our club wins a lot, because we try to bring the force of the small club. So I'm looking forward to see you win it.
Awesome.
Oh, one other thing, designate somebody in your club to write it each month. Have one dedicated, because if you don't, you're like, oh my God, the time is up, where is it? So my advice,
right.
to a past president, that she's an amazing writer.
All right, awesome. All right, we'll take that advice as well too. At this time, we'll questions and comments from the floor.
Karen, you notice I'm making sure you have some more Club of the Month people to look at.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited with your endorsement. I'm glad that Chair Herman already knows about the program and is going to focus on it. And I just like to echo one of the things you said about it in particular, which is at the end of the year, if you do it every month, you have the summary, you have your year-end report right there. And
Right.
it's very effective in terms of a historical look back at what your club accomplished. And at the end of the year, you'll be amazed at what you've done. So,
So Karen,
look
I
forward
didn't
to it.
know I have done 41 projects at Rotary Club at Kingston. I will admit, I am a very tough person when I set goals. I wanted one per week. So I found myself at our club assembly yelling at our members to say, how could you not get 51 projects? So the old past president said, you done? I said, yeah. He goes, we didn't. Stop it. Focus on what you've done, not what you didn't do. So it was a really good, you get really like, oh my God, there are 100 of you. How could we not have done 52 projects? And you forget that you did 41 and they were amazing. So also don't focus on those 11. You notice I still remember. Don't focus on the 11 you didn't do. One other thing, one of the issues we had in Jamaica was, or we still do, our women do way better than our men. So you have 80% of the population in university being women. I'm the mother of a son. Michelle has a son and a daughter. So one of the things I pushed in the Rotary Club of Kingston, because it was predominantly men. When I was in the club, there were maybe 4 of us as women. I got them to go in the schools to read, so inner city kids would just see them. One of the things that was lost on me until we did this, and it was an idea that was brought to me by one of the men, was kids see them on TV. Kids see them as these big guys, and they don't recognize that that could be them. So little simple things as reading to children, the men. So as a woman, I'm saying, I'm not discriminating. However, our women need to also ensure that our men step up and do some of these things. As women, we're amazing. However, we need to torment more of you men to go in to see our kids and do some of that. Agreed, Karen?
Yeah, I completely agree. Here in the Bahamas, we have that challenge as well, that, the women are in a lot of places, they're sort of taking over and the men are just allowing themselves to step back. And it's not healthy. I see the future and it doesn't look good. We need strong men. And I think Rotary has a unique position to build up our young men, provide excellent role models and mentors to them, and just be out there and in the community as a positive force.
And coming with that, interact and early act. You will find, talk to your district chair or go online, try and form one in Cat Island. The early act is, because our Rotary Club has an early act. I'll tell you what that is. That is for the primary school kids. So it's great for them to learn the 4-way test. They do projects too. It's a great way for them to learn leadership and to get us into the primary school. If high schools, the high school version of it is interact. In Kingston, we have a lot of clubs. We have 23 clubs in Jamaica, I think 24 now. In Kingston, we have a lot of them. So I will admit the Rotary Club of Kingston had 9 interact clubs. So when we formed our club, we're looking around to see where we could form a high school club. So instead, because we didn't have a high school that we could really get, Key Club, Kiwanis really took over the high schools as well, we went to the primary school and we found that was a great place to do it early at. So you hear me and Karen preaching, this is a great way for our men and our women to get into the early days. And these are your future members. You start early, and they're with you for.
I would also add to that it's also a great way to recruit new members, because you're reaching, you're reaching the students, but by default, you're also reaching their parents, who could be future Rotarians with your club.
Just for Jamaica in there, Michelle, our president, I met her at school. She's my school wife. So our kids went to the same school. That's how she got into Rotary. So I endorse that.
Yeah, completely.
What was that, Michelle?
A very, very good school wife.
You hear this?
Awesome. So Rotarian Shaquille, you hear that? We honorable man. Step up to the plate.
I was listening to loud and clear, yes, sir.
And you see our young 17-year-old Rotarian Melvin there? He have a lot in him. So we will continue. One of the things that I forgot to mention, well, we're waiting on our t-shirts and what's not, but it's still, we're still working it and putting it in motion, is the partnership thing. And you mentioned it too. We have a group over here at Barracudas that is spearheaded by Mark Kessler. So we're looking, what he does, he gets the kids and what's not, and he deals with the ecosystems. He goes into various creeks, collect those plastics and cans and garbage that is being blown or thrown into the creeks. And you know, that is kind of the nurturing ground. And if turtles get into those plastics, you know, they die. You know, so we were looking at partner with him and going into a particular creek here in Kid Island, where we can do that project. I know also the Cat Island Down Home Fish Off Festival is also doing some things that relates to the fishing industry and the ecosystem. So we'll try to get them on board on that same project. I also know the YME. So we're gonna reach out. We have Rotarian Nikita that is on. I sure know the YME that is here in Kid Island, they will hop on board. So we all will team up because we're a small community, small island, and we will tackle that project.
ZNS. Remember? I don't know how many other stations you have, but I knew ZNS. Get you, especially with your home club, as I call them, the home club, because you're satellite, right? In Nassau. See if you can't get a little spot on ZNS. It's important for the family islands to be seen and heard. So I would suggest, you know, whether it's radio or ZNS, or see if you could get some spots to highlight what you're doing.
I think especially important to highlight the things that you're doing for the environment and to raise environmental awareness. It's so important, and now it's officially an area of focus of Rotary. So I think we really, and I mean, Nikita, you can't have a better person to support caring for our environment than Nikita. So yeah, I think that definitely is great. And it's a positive story that the news outlets like to have. They like to have those positive, uplifting stories. So I encourage you to leverage the resources that your parent or your host club have here in Nassau to make sure you get that media spotlight.
Another thing, in Canada, the Rotary Club of Toronto formed the Rotary Club of Kingston. So the Rotary Club of Kingston was the first club in Jamaica and the third oldest in the district. So whenever I come back to Toronto, I would go to the Rotary Club of Toronto to do my makeups. Why I say this, my son is so familiar with Rotary, the GO Train. I saw one of the initiatives they spoke about was raising funds to wrap a GO Train. You know, normally you see the various signs. I heard about this when I was in Kingston. I'm now in Manor Park. And when I looked out my window, sure enough, my son's like, look, Mom, the train it says Rotary. It was a 5-year project, 6-year project. Look to plan for the future as well, because I guess, you know, it took a lot of money and you don't want to commit a future president, but if you're a small club, you can speak amongst yourselves to say, what do I want to achieve 3, 4, 5 years from now? If we want to pull, you know, have a, you know, a legacy or something in terms of putting up Rotary signs, and we can't do it immediately. So just giving you that as an example, that looking at, you know, the Rotary Club at Toronto had like 500, still does, 400 or 500 members, and they did something like this. So even when you have the big projects, if you plan it well and you talk amongst yourselves, you'd be amazed what you can do. Correct. So when I come to Cat Island, I want to see a Rotary boat.
The possibility is endless, I must say.
Also, I just would like to chime in on another point that the chair mentioned in terms of the fishing industry. In terms of economic development, I think Allison would agree. That's sort of one of the areas of focus that doesn't get so much attention and doesn't get so much support because Rotarians, for the most part, they don't really understand what to do with it, right? But as a member of the Bahamas Disaster Committee, I can tell you that after Hurricane Dorian, one of the things we really focused on in partnership with the Grand Bahama, which is actually in a different Rotary district, but because we're all one family in the Bahamas, we work together with them. We really focus on redeveloping the fishing industry there in Grand Bahama. And we sort of modeled it after the pilot project we did after, I think it was Hurricane Matthew, where we focus again on revitalizing the fishing industry. So Chairman Herman, if you want to reach out to me for more information, I can connect you with the people who were more hands-on with both of those initiatives to give you some ideas and sort of share with you what was done and how it was done.
Yes, yes, please do.
I'm glad she raised that because I'm in Hamburg and I see a flag on a stick. So this is why, guys, you have to, when COVID is done, you have to go to the conventions. I mean, it's so amazing. I see this Bahamian flag on a stick. I hear a Bahamian accent and he's telling me he's in a different district. I'm like, what? He is so phenomenal. You know, when the hurricane hit, he has this water thing pumping. I mean, I shared with my club. We sent money to the Bahamas when the hurricane hit, and we showed the amazing things he does. So I'm glad you cleared that up, Karen, because I'm like, he Bahamian. So why he in a different district? So I'm glad you mentioned this because he rolls around with a Bahamian flag.
Yeah, that's past Assistant Governor Mike Stafford. And he and past Assistant Governor Lindsay Cancino from our district, 7020, they basically got their minds together several years ago and built the reverse osmosis water plant in Grand Bahama. And it's to hear that story is absolutely phenomenal and inspirational and amazing. So I would really encourage you guys to book PAG Mike as a guest speaker. To hear about how that project was envisioned, how it was executed, and how even, you know, as recently as Dorian, it really saved the lives of Bahamians by being able to have potable water.
I would want to see one on Cat Island.
Awesome.
Poor Melvin. Melvin is like, all right, you be gone now. You've been here too long. You've given us too many projects.
A lot of wonderful ideas. A lot of wonderful
Very
ideas.
good.
And remember, we're a small club, the Rotary Club of Manor Park. You know, Melvin knows how to find me. I talk to him regularly. Don't be shy. We have an amazing president. We've had a line of great people. And we're here to help because as Caribbean, we find that sometimes you run up against an issue and you need the tiny club perspective. We're here.
And just to add,
her, you know, it's not like, you know, Karen hears from me.
Yeah, for sure. Just to add that I'm from the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise, and we're always looking for partners. So, you know, hit up our president, Therese Simmons, with any ideas that you might have. And we love to travel as well. So, you know, we could come visit y'all and do a project or a social or a whole weekend. And actually, just for the point of history, many years ago, there was a Rotary Club on Cat Island. And our club actually came there for a whole weekend. We had a social, we participated in your club meeting, and we did a beach cleanup. So our club is like the more seasoned or experienced Rotarians are very connected to the island.
So I will admit that I touched Karen as Club of the Month and said, these are amazing guys, right, Karen?
Yes.
You see, this is called partnerships. You see, because I met Melvin so long ago and he tolerated me, now you guys all benefit from goodwill.
Awesome.
And don't forget annual giving. I must tell tell you, carve out some money because this is what comes back to build these amazing projects.
And I'll just chime in because she's being a little shy and doesn't want to promo it too much, but there actually is an opportunity to do a sustaining member program where you can do a direct debit on your credit card. Trust me, you don't even feel it. And before you know it, you've given $100 or more to the foundation just by asking them to debit your credit card or your debit card a little bit each month. Our club does it in terms of the Paul Harris Society, which is $1,000 of giving per month, whereby each of our members gives $100 as part of their dues, so to speak. So, you know, when we bill them for their dues, we ask them to contribute $100 to the foundation. And then many of us contribute even more. Some do the direct debit, which is $75 a month, and you're at $1,000 of giving, and honestly, you don't feel it. So just another idea.
I was like hinting at her. So one of the things we do in the Rotary Club of Manor Park, because our dues, when you join the Rotary Club of Manor Park, you have to pay $1,000 US to Rotary. What we do is our sergeant charges every Rotarian $25 minimum per year. So whether you, like me, commit to $1,000 every year or not, I still have to pay my $25. Lindsay Cancino has this amazing polio drive. We're also committed to doing 100 per year. So just putting it out there that this is the money that comes back to you to do big projects. So with the Rotary Club at Manor Park, we were able to partner with a Rotary Club in Curacao who they needed desperately a breast cancer screening. They just didn't have any on island. So through the fact that we as a Rotary Club at Manor Park had given to Rotary globally $1,000 each member, they were able to access that money. We didn't have to contribute anything else. And they have just closed out that project, and it's saving lives. So that Rotary partnership, even if it's not millions of dollars, even if it's $10, $25, as I said, if every Rotarian gives a little, you get it back. This is the money that comes back to you to spend.
And I would just like to chime in with a local example and then ask PDG Felix, who just joined, to give details on another example. But for our club, we actually utilize the funds from the Rotary Foundation to fit out an autism classroom at Willard Patton. Our club contributed about $100, and the total outfit was close to over $10,000. So for $100 from our club, we were able to do a project for $10,000 through the magic of the Rotary Foundation. PDG Felix, would you like to explain to them about the Bloodmobile, which was a Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas project that utilized the Rotary Foundation?
Or Felix,
it helps if I unmute.
All right.
Let me say thank you so much for allowing me to join your meeting this evening, although it's late.
Welcome.
And congratulations for forming this Satellite Club in Cat Island. I remember it was several years ago, 2009, when we had a full Rotary Club there that lasted about 2 or 3 years. So I'm wishing you guys every success for the long term. Yeah, an example of the Bloodmobile. So several years ago, we determined that there was a need to have a mobile Bloodmobile here in the Bahamas, in Nassau specifically. And we arranged for, at that time, we had 6 clubs in Nassau. And so we asked all the clubs to put together some funding to help raise money towards a global grant. And for the Bloodmobile specifically, because it was a multiple deal, we did something here in the Bahamas, and we also did something on the other side in the United States. But for the Bloodmobile in the Bahamas, each club gave $100. So we had $600 from the local clubs in Nassau. We then went to our district, and we got some money from our district. We then went to several clubs in the United States and got club money from each of them, as well as from their districts. And then we took all that money to the Rotary Foundation, and we had a match. And so at the end of the day, after we took all the money and got the match from Rotary, we ended up being able to fund a bloodmobile to the tune of $103,000. So in a very short period of time, we had a bloodmobile in the Bahamas, landed for $103,000, and it cost the Rotary clubs in the Bahamas $600.
Wow.
So if you utilize the foundation correctly, if you build relationships with other clubs, because there are numerous clubs around the world, but specifically in the United States, who have lots of money but no projects. So if you have projects and you build relationships with them, you can do joint projects and get a significant project for very little input of money on your side.
See, Herman, you invite me to the tribe.
Yes, yes. Awesome.
That Felix, you heard me mention him earlier. Past District Governor Felix is the advisor to the Rotary Club of Manor Park. I told you I went back to the Bahamas, so he gave me a lot of guidance. In fact, I went with him to the convention in Atlanta. Remember that, Felix, when I said we're going to form a club, and he took me to the various things and introduced me to a lot of Rotary bigwigs.
Yep.
So guys, if our club can have a Bahamian advisor, the world's the limit for you. You understand? So don't restrict yourself to just the Bahamas. The world's out there.
Awesome. And this is so excited. And the importance of this meeting this afternoon, we have various persons from various clubs, Nassau, in the States, all the way in Canada. You have Jamaica on here. So we're networking already, all right? So definitely we're gonna stay in contact with you guys, and we will call on you for help, because we are only a satellite club. But there are great things that we want to.
Only. You're in Rotary. There's no.
We're in Rotary.
You only put the satellite on it because you are less than a full Rotary membership, but you are Rotarians.
You're not only.
Yes.
You're one of us.
Let me give a shout out to retired Melvin.
Hi, Felix. How are you?
Look like you're enjoying the family island.
Oh, yes, indeed, indeed.
Okay.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Mr. Chairman, put Melvin to work. He's a good hard worker.
Yeah, I have him working already.
Very good.
Already. That is my very close cousin. So he's doing some awesome work here in Kid Island. Before we move on.
You mentioned shirts. I'm wearing my Rotary Club of Manor Park shirt. One of the things we did, we put it in the dues. So each member of the club each year gets a shirt, because some of us grow in size, some of us shrink. So you mentioned the shirt, make sure there's ample, because when you're painting, I find some of them have things on the sleeve. So, make sure we have a gentleman in the Cayman Islands and there's Sheila Bethel. Make sure your public image is on point. You have the right wheel, because there's other wheels out there, and we don't want Sheila coming and showing up, or the gentleman out of the Cayman Islands calling our names. So the shirt. So, I'll send out pictures, but it's like this. And it completely, it has a Rotary Club here, it has Rotary, and we have some that say People of Action. So if you want, we could show you what we've done, instead if you don't want to reinvent the wheel, no pun intended. So part of your public image is branding yourself, right?
Right, correct. We will do so.
So that's it for me. If you have questions, like I said, thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes. But I would like to publicly thank you for that awesome presentation. I want to thank you for all of the knowledge, the wisdom that you impart on us here this afternoon. Definitely, we will take all of them and we will apply it here in Cat Island. There's much work to be done. So now that we have a sort of guidance, information and things that we can use as tool. And the networking, yes, we will use all of that. So I'd like to thank you so much for that wonderful presentation here this afternoon on behalf of the club here in Kid Island. If there are any more questions, we can continue to have them from the floor.
Just a shout out, is that Nikita? I figure the face look familiar. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Small world.
You know what? I was thinking as I'm looking at both you and Karen, I was like, you guys trained us well. And it's just so I was part of the Interact Club of Nassau Sunset, which was the Interact Club of the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise, which past DG Stubbs, Felix Stubbs, and PAG Karen are still active members of. And so it's just fun to be in this space as we're so connected both locally and then globally as well.
Sounds to me like you have your early acts and Interact chair.
There we go. But actually, I am the disaster preparedness chair, so I will not be able to do that. But there's a lot for us to do when it comes to disaster preparedness, so I'm ready for that.
Let me chime in. I wear about 5 hats in my club.
Oh, that's a lot. I want one hat. At least
I'm trying to guilt you into it. But and I have a assistant governor who we call 100 job Yasmin. So just because you have one, if you have the time and you have the passion, don't feel like you can only be one.
Thank you for that advice. I think there's been so much great inspiration from this conversation tonight.
Allison, I always tell people that the only good Rotarian is a busy Rotarian.
I would agree with that. When PDG Felix said to me, I dragged him to Jamaica to show him the, project that I'd done. And then he said, do you know I'm Junior Achievement Bahamas? Remember this, Felix?
Yep.
And then I said to him, I'm tired. I was explaining to him how our needs change. I want a smaller club, and Felix said, well, form your own. So be careful. When Felix tells you things, they seem to happen.
I take my people carefully.
Just giving you guys fair warning.
Awesome. At this time, before we move on to our 4-way test, I would give space for our president who's on here, President Mike, say a few words. Is he still on? I know he was.
Yep. Still present. Like I say, like everybody said, it's been a very informative presentation tonight, and this is my first time joining one of you guys, the Satellite Club's weekly meeting. I will be on, make space every Thursday, and tune in. Thanks again.
Awesome. It's always a pleasure to have you in our midst. It's wonderful when you and your team came down and invest us, during the induction. That was a wonderful experience, and we're always grateful to have you. So at this time, I'll call on our Rotarian Shaquille. Sorry. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I will call on Rotarian Nikita to give the 4-way test.
Thank you so much. So for the 4-way test, of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And then, of course, I will never forget number 5. Will it be fun?
It'd be fun. Awesome. And then Rotarian Shaquille with the Rotary toast.
To my fellow Rotarians and around the world, have a good night.
Rotary around the world. Thank you, Shaquille. And to all of you Rotarian, this has been awesome. I know there's something that we can take from it and we can apply. So I would like to thank each and every one of you that was on this afternoon. So with that being said, this meeting will be adjourned for Thursday, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Next week. We will have a parking lot conversation after the meeting. So the meeting is officially adjourned. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Salad for me.
Okay, good night.
Night.
I'm really glad, happy to see you guys
Good
doing
night.
so well. Let me know if there's any help you need. I'll be really too happy to help.
Indeed. Thank you, Felix.
PhD Karen, I would love your contact.
Yeah, I'll put it in a group chat.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Please do.
Yeah, and I'm happy to help if any of you have any questions or concerns or any ideas that you want to just throw at me for my feedback. I'm available. Probably the best way is WhatsApp
Correct. Okay.
or a phone call if I don't respond to the WhatsApp.
Yeah, you are.
Will do.
That was such a good meeting. Thank you so much, everyone. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really great to see you guys. I know some of you, but it's great to see more of you. And we definitely look forward as Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas supporting you guys in however we can to make your dreams come true with your Rotary experience.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a
Bye.
great night. Look forward to visiting you once all this COVID thing is a bit more mitigated.
Yes.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Take care.
All right.
Good night.
That's fine. Good night.
Good night. Good night, Mr. Chairperson.
Good night, Ms. Penn. Always a blessing to see you and have you.
Yes, good night to everyone. Good night, Nikita.
All right. I think she gone. All right, you're blessed.
God
Yes.
bless.